put on Yeshua. Here it is, sweetheart. You don't like Kabbalah? You got nothing. This is biblical Kabbalah. You put on, this is his clothing, his soul, his wardrobe. Bravery, beauty, victory, honor, mercy, wisdom, understanding, because this is the plan. But the way to get the kingdom, the Malchut, is to be firmly grounded in all these manifestations, and you work your way up, and eventually you get the crown. Hallelujah. Now we're going to cover a lot of scriptures here. I'm going to go quickly. Let me go quickly. What happens on Shavuot? We get married as a nation again. So Shavuot is an annual retaking of vows, listen, between Yahweh and his only bride, Yisrael. Yahweh doesn't, the church is not the bride of Yeshua. Now, the church goes by other names. She's known as a whore, but certainly not as a bride. And so what happens every Shavuot is the bride makes herself ready. But how does the bride make herself ready? Well, we with the washing of regeneration of water by the word. What does that mean? So if I read Isaiah in the bathtub, I'm going to be changed? Well, brother, I don't need soap today. I'm using Jeremiah. See you later. No. It means, listen, to be washed with the water of the word. Yeshua is the word. All these sefirot come from the word. All these sefirot manifest from they're not gods, they're not Catholicism, Jewish Kabbalism. These are the the basic manifestations of Yahweh. And we wash ourselves in the word. He is the word. He emanates all these sefirot. And we wash ourselves with victory, with honor, with kingdom living, with foundational, strong, rooted disciplines. Rooted disciplines. So the 50 days, Yahweh says, you number numerically, and I'll change you according to my manifestations of my Sefirot. Because I've got 49 permutations. I've got 7 lower realm manifestations. And when you completely put these on, there's nothing left but what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you put on the lower manifestations, you'll get your crown. You'll get your Keter. This message entitled Chasing Keter. So the counting of the Omer is all about a chase for the Keter. Amen. Amen. When we count, we realize that the count is this period of building character. I'm going to go through a lot of stuff here. So what's going to happen on Shavuot when the day of Shavuot fully comes? What's going to happen? We're going to renew our vows with Yahshua, but we have to be clean. Symbolic of what's taking place during the 49 days, we are going to be mikvahd on the 50th day as the final act of what? Sephirah, the Sephirah of cleanliness, which could be defined as Tiferet. When we allow Yahweh to build all these character manifestations in us, the 50th day we take a mikvah. Did not our forefathers take a mikvah on Mount Sinai before Yahweh agreed to come down and descend and remarry Yisrael? Didn't he? Didn't we have to wash ourselves and change our clothes and not come into our wives? What does that mean? We were set apart for Yahweh. That's he was saying, I can't meet you until you allow me to put on Tiferet, the beauty of holiness, the new garments, the mikvah, the water. That would be the Sefirah of Tiferet. Hello? The 10th. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. The goal is here. Here's the goal, Malchut. That's the goal. But the way to get the goal is to climb up the tree of life, not down as our forefathers when they went down to Mitzrayim. You get it? When our forefathers went down, did they go down or up to Mitzrayim? They went down. When they went back up to Canaan, or the promised land, Eretz Zavat Chalav Udvash, a land flowing with milk and honey, they went up. That's symbolic of every Israelite going up the manifestations and the tree of life to become more and more like Yahweh. So the church doesn't know what they're talking about as usual. When they say be more like Yeshua, are they right? Yeah, but then they don't tell you how. Because they think that Yeshua is limited to one manifestation.
Yeah. Yes.
The Torah, this is the soul of the Torah. What is Torah? In the beginning was the Torah. The Torah was with Yahweh, and the Torah was Yahweh. Well, brother, I don't believe in that legalism. That's all that Torah stuff. Really? Well, you must not believe in Yahweh, because it says in the beginning the Torah was with Yahweh. P.S. The Torah was Yahweh. And if the Torah is just a piece of paper or a scroll on two rolls, and it can't breathe and manifest life and manifest victory and manifest honor and manifest understanding and manifest mercy, then it's not much of a Torah. You need a new Torah. The Torah better be breathing and moving and manifesting victory, life, honor, and all the other things. Kabbalat Shabbat means to receive the Shabbat. Is the Shabbat yours before you receive it?
No.
No. It's Yahweh's. And you have to do the same with the Sefirot. Are the Sefirot yours? No. Not if you don't receive it. So Kabbalat Sefirah means the receiving of the real purpose and meaning behind the Sefirah Omer. Again today, part 2, chasing. Chasing. It's not going to be given to you. I'll say that again. It will not be given to you. You must chase it.
Pursue.
I say chase. You know what's going to happen on Shavuot? We're going to renew our vows. We're going to renew our vows. Are we going to be ready? Now let me share a few things with you. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I said Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Yahweh's Sephirah of mercy, or chesed, must be given boundaries by his what? Bravery or gevurah. So the mercy of Pesach, the blood redemption, becomes the boundaries or the bravery, like Kamar we saw today, to overcome sin. So here, what do we experience in Mitzrayim? The Sephirah of Chesed. We were redeemed by the blood of the Lamb because of our own goodness? No, because of Yahweh's Chesed. But Chesed will run amok, love, love, love. They're sinning, that's okay, love, love, love. But they're slandering, that's okay, love, love, love. So in order for Chesed not to run amok, it has to be, listen, it has to be tempered by bravery. Bravery to see that Yahweh's mercy will cover all your sin if you're brave enough to deal with it. And you're brave enough to get the character deficiencies out of our lives. So in order to have Chesed fully manifest, it must have the boundary of Gevurah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. What does it mean? What does it mean? What is Omer? A defined measure. The counting of the Omer is a time for Yahweh defining and measuring your character and how much you and I are willing to change. Is not the Omer a defined measure? How much? 2.5 liters. Approximately 2.5 liters. Yahweh is measuring and defining our desire to change because the Omer is a defined measure of barley and then later wheat. Hello? You can define and measure the progress. Day 1, day 2, day 3. So that the counting of the Omer is a time when many people are exposed as frauds. Many people are exposed as talking a good religious game, but they don't want to have their character and their very being defined by measure and by Yahweh. Again, this message, chasing Keter. Hello? So you can say the bracha all you want, but we don't like Yahweh defining and measuring how many of the sefirot in our lives we actually still lack. We all still lack many of the Sefirot in our lives. But by counting and giving ourselves over to Yahweh, we say, Yahweh, yes, I need more chesed, love, more understanding, more wisdom. I'm unstable. I get very emotional about things that I really ought not to. I need yesod. I need yesod, foundation. You understand? So Shavuot is a time when we renew our vows with Yahweh because we allowed Him to what? To omer us, to define us, and measure us with certain expressions of His Sefirah, bravery, chesed, and other Sefirah. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. It's like a bird. How many wings do birds have? Can a bird fly with one wing? No. A bird needs to be balanced, both wings, to fly. Same with believers. Mercy and judgment, then with the Sefirah of Yahweh, mercy rejoices against judgment. But mercy does not negate judgment.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
One survives because another Sefirah is a boundary which allows that Sefirah to properly manifest in our lives. We all want to be more loving, unless you're Charlie Manson. And if you're a disciple of Charlie Manson, your movie's on tomorrow night. But I don't think we have any Talmidim of Charlie Manson here.
No, I don't think so.
Yahweh forbid. So, in order for chesed, Yahweh's chesed, not feel-good Salvation Army type, do you need pajamas, sweetheart? Here are the pajamas, and I'll help you keep warm. That's mercy, but that's not Yahweh's mercy. Because that mercy can be motivated by wrong thinking, such as sympathy, which is fine. Sympathy is fine. But Yahweh's chesed has to be tempered by a certain amount of bravery. So that when we manifest His bravery to face our shortcomings during the counting of the Omer, He gives us abundant mercy, and mercy will overcome Gevurah, but it will never negate Gevurah. Just like the second covenant is the first covenant revealed, and the first covenant is the second covenant concealed, and the second covenant is better because it's built on better promises. The blood of Yeshua is better than the blood of a goat or a dog.
Amen.
Not that the Brit Chadashah is better than the Torah, it's built on better promises. So the Sefirot balance each other, and the counting of the Omer is a time when Yahweh wants to bring defined and measured correction and balance in your life. The counting of the Omer is a very dangerous time. You get untold, unmerited favor and blessings, but it's also going to rock your boat and sink your Titanic if you're not careful. Because people who have unforgiveness, they talk a good game in love, but they can't forgive. That gets brought to the light during the counting of the Omer. People that have hatred against you, or unforgiveness against you, or they've done you wrong, if they don't get their life in order during the counting of the Omer, that comes to light. So yes, the counting of the Omer is a time of unprecedented opportunity to be blessed by Yahweh, but you've got to be chasing your Keter. The Keter doesn't come to you. I'm going to talk a lot of scripture, so relax. The Keter doesn't come to you. The crown. This is where we're all headed. The kingdom. But the kingdom road is up. If you've noticed, Yeshua, his head, his person, his throne is in the Shemayim. It is going through 49 portals, and that's why Yahweh says you need 49 gates to come back to me. Just like your ancestors degraded themselves through 49 gates of depravity. It wasn't, well, I don't know, I think that Lucy needs a little help in mathematics. So I know she can count to 20, but she can't make it to 49. So what I'll do is I'll tell her to count the Omer to help her math. We come up with the most cockamamie reasons. Well, it's just a bracha. Well, it's just a mitzvah. No, it's a time when Yahweh will define and measure how many of the Sefirot you have to offer, and the Sefirot you don't have, and if you're willing to receive the Sefirot that you don't have by presenting yourselves as a living sacrifice, set apart, acceptable to Yahweh. That's your reasonable service. Romans 12, 1 and 2. That's your reasonable service. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. We're preparing to renew our vows on Shavuot. So the 7 weeks in between Bikurim and Shavuot are 7 weeks called Shavuot, Tmei, Mod, or healing weeks. Hello, we need healing. These are not just any weeks, these are healing weeks. And, Baruch Hashem Yahweh, there are 7 Shabbats that are healing Shabbats in those 7 Shavuot. So if the whole week is a time of healing, how much more the Shabbat in the week?
7 healing weeks.
7 healing Shabbats. Perfect healing. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. The purpose of the Omer, in its core, listen, is to transform our evil inclination or our animal inclination or Yetzer Hara into a vessel. What was the word today? Into a vessel of light. Listen, the counting of the Omer is to take the remaining animalistic instincts in our lives and transform them and us into vessels of light. Light. We experience a ratso, or a leaving, or an exodus. Ratso. What happened after the exodus? Did they sink in the sand? No.
No, they came back up.
They ascended from Mitzrayim into the remarriage on Har Sinai.
Yes.
Are we on?
Yes.
So Yisrael ascended Ratso. What's the Hebrew word Exodus? Ratso. And to run out. They ran out of Mitzrayim. So much so, they didn't even have time for the bread to rise. They ran, or they exited Exodus out of Mitzrayim, which is the lower realm into the higher realm. What's a better realm? To be slaves and in bondage and in travail of being in Mitzrayim, or to marry the Creator Yahweh on Har Sinai? What's a better state of being? What's a better state of being? To be married to Yahweh on Har Sinai. Switch this, please, if you would, toward me. Amen. So the purpose of the counting of the Omer is to bring us from a lower spiritual realm into the higher spiritual realm. We build, and what's nice is we are co-laborers with Yeshua. Didn't he say in 1 Corinthians 15? He said, we are co-laborers with him. What does that mean? In context of measuring and defining our life, like the high priest measured the Omer of what? Barley, and waved it on Bikurim, and we measure the Omer of the wheat, and we take the 2 loaves and wave it like the Kohen HaGadol on Shavuot. What's the purpose? To take us from the lower realm into the higher realm. We go from foundation to beauty. Foundation, what is that? Elementary. That's nice. Where do you send children who are inclined toward elementary education? Elementary school. You don't send them to college. Right? You don't take a toddler and send them to Colgate or Harvard. Okay. So first we climb the tree of life, and we get more founded and grounded, and eventually during the counting of the Omer, if, turn your name is if. Israel again. If we allow Yahweh to change us, we take on more and more of his nature, and we get more and more of the manifestations of Yahweh. We become more like him because we're all chasing this. Not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's going to get the Keter, but we're chasing Keter. So that this trip up is a trip from the animalistic Yetzer Hara, evil inclination, up to the higher spiritual realm of Keter. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. How many gates do we have to go to? Give me some more bass, Ted. More bass. Not volume, bass. How many gates do we have to go to get to Shavuot? 49 gates. 7 times 7. Remember I told you? You can set aside, next year you'll know how to do it. You can set aside Yom Rishon from bravery. Maybe you're shy to speak up. Maybe you don't always let your yes be yes and your no be no. So every Yom Rishon is the day to seek Yahweh for bravery, Gevurah. Maybe you don't have enough honor and self-dignity and you have low self-esteem and you need a little shot and dose of self-esteem. So maybe Yom Sheni or Yom Shlishi, every Yom Shlishi for how many? 7 perfect weeks, because there are weeks for healing. They're called whole weeks. There are times for set apart for wholeness and healing. Every Wednesday can be a time where you seek to have a proper self-image and you ask Yahweh to rid you of low self-esteem. For 7 Tuesdays or whatever, Yom Shlishi, that's what you're doing. For those 7 consecutive days. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So next year you'll know. But that gets you through the lower animal realm into the higher spiritual realm of Keter. But notice what happens after 49 days. If we are becoming more and more like Yeshua during this time of testing and reward, we come to this level right here. The 7 what? Lower Sefirot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Correct? What happens on Shavuot? On Shavuot, we add Chokhmah, Binah, and Keter. Yahweh says, well done, good and faithful servant. During these days of the counting of the Omer, you've chased Keter. So when we marry or we renew our vows, we don't marry because our people have been married to Yahweh for some 4,000 years. We learned that in the Sefer Yashar, where we saw Abraham and Yitzchak learning in the house of Shem. So Yahweh didn't marry Israel on Mount Sinai. He renewed his vows with the covenant people of Eber, Shem, and Abraham. Remember that? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So we remarry him, but what is the purpose of that Shavuot? To renew our vows and to receive a Keter from Yahweh, a crown. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So that on that day, on Shavuot, we've come through the time of trial and character building to a time when we have wisdom, understanding, and citizenship in Yahweh's kingdom. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Huh?
Perfect sense.
Does it make perfect sense? Simple, right? Very, very simple. We build ourselves, listen, into a vessel fit and set apart for the Master's use. So the counting of the Omer is a time when we allow Yahweh's Sefirot to come upon us, overtake us, and manifest through us. And then we're more like Yeshua. We're manifesting more of Yeshua. And what's happening in the process of measured change? It's not a whole bunch of change, because Yahweh is not going to change you in one day. You Sefirah the days, he'll Sefirah the Sefirot in your life that you don't have and that you need.
Amen. Amen.
Can it be any simpler? So Yahweh is building us into a vessel fit to renew vows with come Shavuot. The whole 50 days is a time when he is making us and molding us into a vessel fit for honor and fit for the Master's use, because that vessel has to be able to contain all the glory, the Sefirot, the bravery, the mercy, the wisdom, everything Yahweh wants to. Everything Yahweh wants to deposit in you will depend on the quality of your vessel, whether it will leak light or hold light.
Come on. Hallelujah. Come on.
It's all about character. It's not about TT. It's not about head covering. It's not about being a Baptist or a Lutheran. And now I found this new thing, and I think it fits for me.
Leak light or a hole.
Yahweh can care less if this fits for you. Yahweh wants to make you into a vessel that can bear light. Who is Yeshua? He is the radiant, Hebrews chapter 1. He is the radiant light bearer and manifestation of Abba Yahweh. He is the vessel that is the phos of Yahweh. Yeshua said, I am the phos, where we get the English word phosphorus. I am the phos, or the fire, or the light that lights the world, Yohanan 8:12. I am the light of the world. If any man follows me and all my Sifirot and manifestations, he will not walk in darkness, but he'll have the light of Chaim. So Yahweh is using these days to say, I'm going to lift your skirt, and I'm going to show all the uncleanness and all the things in your life that are double-minded, double-purposed, and that you're hiding from people. I'm going to expose your character. I'm going to reveal you as a Benedict Arnold to other people who think very highly of you. And I'll show you all your shortcomings, and then you'll either count the Omer with me, not just numerically, but count all the Sifirot that you need. Are you willing to give me your 7 Yom Rishon? Are you willing to give me 7 Yom Sheni? Are you willing to give me 7 Yom Shlishis? Are you willing to give me 7 Yom Revi'is? Are you willing to give me 7 Yom Shishis and Yom Shabbats? 7, because these are designated out of 52 weeks of the year, or 50 by the Hebrew calendar. These are 7 designated. Turn to your neighbor and say designated.
Designated.
These are designated not just any weeks, but weeks of medical attention. These are weeks that Yahweh wants to give you medical attention to create and renew and implant in you what is lacking in the light-bearing vehicle and vessel that He's ordained you to become, but because the vessel is cracked, because we get used to being cracked. Well, you know, I'm just crazy. Well, you know, I've been told since I was by yay high. Somebody told me that my elevator doesn't go all the way up. I guess it doesn't. Well, when I was just a little girl, my mama told me I looked ugly in skirts, and I just feel more comfortable wearing jeans. My mama told me that I look like a monkey with a tie, so I don't wear no ties anymore, because I don't want to. See, and that sticks with us. And that Yahweh can only fill us with so much understanding when we think that way. We've got to present our vessel, and what the world and the church and the religious systems of Allah Akbar don't understand is that these are 7 weeks to those who want to grab these 7 weeks. What was the word of Yahweh to us today? You're a vessel, get filled, but don't be deceived because things are not what you see. We've had people sitting in this congregation for 5 years running me down and running the leadership down, and I don't like it. And they sat to my face and denied that they did it. And then the very next week, we found out that it was done. Yahweh will expose. I don't really care. And if you're for Yeshua, Yahweh will manifest that too. If you're a faithful lieutenant, He'll make you a faithful captain. And if you're a faithful captain, He'll make you a faithful commander. And what is faithfulness? Using this counting of the Omer, not to excuse our weaknesses and shortcomings, but to present our vessel to be fixed up. In measure, by divine measurement, a little bit at a time. 2.5 liters of change every day. I can handle that. But if Yahweh changes me overnight, I may die on the operating table. I have so many shortcomings. We're so imperfect, we may die on the operating table. So carrying the Omer is not just a way of showing Yahweh you love him. It's a way of presenting your vessel to be a vessel that holds light, that holds victory, that holds bravery, that holds firmness and foundationalism in the things of the Emunah, somebody. It's a time to show that you want to become a vehicle that has and manifests and radiates all the Sefirot and become the Etz Chaim, the tree of life, so that the Torah is no longer a piece of scroll behind the cabinet. You become the living manifestation of all Yahweh is, because he is the living Torah. Amen. Jeremiah 31:31, I will put my Torah in their hearts, and they will be my people, and I will be their Elohim, and they will teach no more his neighbors, saying, know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least to the greatest, for I will forgive their sins, and remember their iniquities no more. Jeremiah 31:34. What does that mean? What does it mean to put the Torah on the inside? Does that mean we're going to go to Dr. DeBakey in South Africa and get an implant? Then we're going to take a Torah from a Judaica bookstore, and Yahweh's going to open our heart and stick one in? Well, brother, I believe the Torah is inside of us. How did it get there? How did the Torah get inside of you? According to the Brit Hadashah, Yahweh's going to put the Torah in your heart. That means that he is going to put Yeshua in you, and as you allow Yeshua to radiate and manifest, he'll manifest through you like he does apart from you. What does Yeshua do? He radiates the fullness of Yahweh apart from you and I. But when we allow the Torah, Yeshua, the living Torah, to be in us, he will radiate the same way he radiates apart from us. But now we're part of the victory. We're part of the team. We're part of the process. And